Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Minus the Rumors for Saturday, September 19th, 2015. I am Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with Crimson Rose from Crimson Rose Games, as well as Not Quite Nerds' Linz and Dano. How are you tonight?
Fantastic.
Good.
Blended.
Good.
As I cough. So, a little bit of an update from last week. We brought up the Pokemon Go. So, as we all know, Pokemon Go was announced last week. Pokemon Go is an augmented reality game for the Android iPhone, free of charge. But however, as all things, there's going to be in-game charges. Plus, the watch costs money. It'll be released in 2016, which happens to be the 20th anniversary of the franchise. Pokemon Go is being made by Niantic, which actually used to be under Google. The Pokemon Company, Nintendo Company, and Junichi Masada from Game Freak, which is pretty amazing that you've got 4 different companies coming together for this one game. But it's got a lot of groundbreaking new ideas for the augmented reality stuff. What is everyone's thoughts, kind of base value on this thing?
Go ahead.
As we are all aware, I am not the Pokemon expert of the group, but it's an interesting concept. The augmented reality meets, Bluetooth meets mobile app meets get out and play games in the real world with other people. Are we actually going to pay attention to other people when we do it? I'm not really sure. We might just run into each other while we all look at our phones. We do that anyway, but yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's an interesting jump.
I think the technology behind it is very nice. It'll be something to watch for the potential, transferal to other products similar to this. How many genres can it get into? As long as can keep these things from bugging up and telling people that they need to break into a military black site to get this specific demand that they want.
Right.
And that's the conversation that's been happening behind the scenes. Is there's lots of good and a bit of bad with this situation. The good things are Nintendo has jumped into the race, which is they are the innovators. When the next gen consoles came out, the Wii was technically the first next gen. Just Xbox and PlayStation did it so much better. One of the things that people say is, how distracted am I going to be with, my phone, with my Bluetooth, with my watch, with any type of outdoors augmented reality? Am I going to walk in front of a car? What do you guys think? Do you think there's situations where something like this could happen?
I definitely think there is.
Yeah, that's the question, especially for the younger players of the game who might not be as responsible as the older players, or for the dumber people among us. It could be an issue for them as well.
We prefer less smart. But
Funny.
There's definitely
intelligence challenged among us.
There is definitely an aspect of, possible danger. I don't know if I've told you this or not, but after my flight back from ArcadiaCon, over at the Detroit Metro Airport, where there is Wi-Fi throughout the entire thing, I watched someone FaceTiming his family walk down an up escalator. And he took a pretty bad tumble. So, honestly, if you've got your face in your phone or something like that, if you can be that distracted...
Right.
And
this preview that you guys have shown me to try to educate me on this, it's not an actual representation of the game. I understand that, but it does show a scenario where, hey, you can capture or defeat this Pokemon but you have 9 minutes to do it or something like that. And, that is definitely, for those of us that have full-time jobs,
you'll just have to catch it next time.
If I'm in a meeting and I
Bathroom
have
break.
like 5 minutes to capture this Pokemon.
That would
Bathroom
be
break.
that would be what they would call a legendary fight.
Yeah.
Legendaries are extremely rare Pokemon.
Probably based on the how good something is maybe at a time limit. We don't know all the details of this so far, so a little bit more on this. This is actually the first big mobile gaming for augmented reality that we've seen. Niantic is obviously Niantic is the company that is providing the skills and the whatnots for the augmented reality, as they used to be part of Google. This is what they did. They developed a game called Ingress. So the question is, I forget. Oh, do you think this could lead to more mobile augmented reality in the future?
I certainly hope it could. I'd like to see what it can do outside of a turn-based genre, you know, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what the future holds for augmented reality first-person shooters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
And I mean,
uh,
just with the buzz that this is creating, I know that there are going to be some other companies that they may not do it right away, but they're going to give it a shot. Just
Right.
because of, I mean, it's got a lot of buzz around it. There are a lot of people excited for it, and copy paste. Here is your bandwagon.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm hoping the game is compatible with either the HoloLens or Google Glass or both. Uh,
Well, I mean, Niantic has the inside scoop to know how to do that. However, Google may change, coding that it may make it harder. But Nintendo's always been an innovator. They may make something themselves. But that being the case, Nintendo has jumped into this race that Xbox and PlayStation have been going at it, just battling it out. But they've only been focused on the Oculus Rift and, sitting there playing a game. And
yeah.
Nintendo's like, no, we're the innovators. We're going to finally jump in. And not just our company, 4 companies getting together to do this. And they're saying, hey, not only are we going to jump into augmented reality, we're going to do it for the mobile. We're going to make it somewhat free. We're going to have it outside. No one's ever done that. And then, not only that, you know what? Let's just have people interaction. We want you to go talk to people face to face. This is something that, video games haven't done, period, where without there being a tournament, that you go out and do something. You get some physical exercise and some sun. I mean, they are breaking down walls that I didn't think we'd see broken down so soon. And I'm so curious to see how Xbox and PlayStation are going to, counteract this, because I would love to, like Zero said, I'd love to see an outdoors shooting game, like with the Google, like, glasses. I mean, you can make a case, there's some bad things that could come out of that for sure,
Right.
but, the possibilities are endless, to the point where if we start seeing this in our everyday lives, so much so, we're going to start seeing this, and we've already started seeing this in our cars, but we're going to see it in our cars, we're going to see it every part of our daily lives. I mean, augmented reality and virtual reality are going to become reality very quickly, by the looks of it. And that could be good and that could be bad.
Then we're all going to be surrogates.
There is
Yes.
the I hate to bring it up, but I just had a kind of a shuddering feeling. There's physical safety, yes, we've talked about the possibility of physical safety becoming an issue with, distraction. What about personal safety, though, when you're battling some other, game user and
Some random kid in the hood.
some random kid, some creepy old adult?
That's what I was thinking of. Someone who knows that this is going to be
Somebody out with ill intent.
right.
That's where the parents have to just step it up and...
Right. Go catch Pokemon just only in our neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good way and a bad way to go about this, and it's really just going to come down to parenting. And of course, there will be bad people that will try to spin this in a bad way, but we hope for the best. And I see all this it's groundbreaking, it's new, there's a lot of information we just don't know, but it's going to be huge, and it's going to revolutionize gaming, period. Oculus Rift has started it. This is going to drastically, help
Right.
change it.
Right, and there is a debate right now going on regarding augmented reality versus virtual reality,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and which one is actually, Oculus Rift would like to believe that virtual reality is more immersive, but the
It's-
fact that augmented reality puts you in your actual world and then
Yeah.
augments it, obviously is an argument that perhaps that is the more immersive gameplay.
Right. Virtual reality tends to be a little more unsettling. The brain tends to not know what to do with the information it's presented.
Mhm.
Whereas augmented reality, your brain knows what's there, but something is being added.
Yeah, I prefer the augmented reality just because I think it's so much cooler. Unless there's games like that you do a deep dive, there's some anime, but augmented reality is it's just cool. The idea that it's just cool. What else can I say?
Right.
And the last little bit about this, we've killed the tech part of it. But the actual gameplay, what's going to be interesting is how Nintendo goes about this, and because there's so many possibilities, and they have a new president, so it's up to him. But is it going to be where I can find anything anywhere, or are they going to have it where, because they've got everything set up to Google GPS and perfectly laid out for the world, where it's possible that they could have, all right, you can only find this type in deserts. You can only find this type in mountains. You can only find this part or these types in ocean areas. So something like that, I would actually prefer because it'd just be harder, more interesting, more just
It'll also. I agree, Crimson. I'm not trying to interrupt, but I know what you're saying, and I believe it would be more beneficial to society, to social interaction, because
Yeah.
that's where you're going to get your trading with other players from, right there.
because at that
Especially,
point. Because at that point, you got to start talking to people internationally, maybe traveling. I mean, it could lead, to very interesting things, but, we don't know how it'll be at the end. But, I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be game-changing, breaking, but I think Nintendo will basically own the market for the next couple years, seeing how this is their 20th anniversary of Pokemon. They've got like 5 different games coming out. They've got their new console coming out. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated.
mm-hmm. So in other news, October 30th, the day before Halloween, a couple of days after my birthday. Um, there's going to be a new TV hitting the market in limited release. It's 85 inches, which, I have a 65-inch TV. I paid a couple $100 for it. This new TV is 8K. It's being made by Sharp. It's $133,000.
Yeah, this is I don't know whether to call this impressive or ridiculous because it's kind of a cross between the two.
That's exactly
I'm
how
gonna
I'm
put it
feeling.
on my Amazon wish list. You guys at home?
I'll put it on my Amazon wish list too, and I will be just as happy to watch cable at 1080p on it as I am on my 65-inch.
Yeah. I mean, if we all get together and we each sell a kidney,
Then we'll have half of what it takes to buy this TV.
yeah.
Right. Is this what did you call it the other day, Lynn's? Elitist marketing?
It is. It's you brought up the question, what is there a market for this? And I answered you, yeah, absolutely. It's
People that
the
are rich.
elitist market.
Okay.
Elitism is a market in and of itself.
Right. Nobody needs a $300,000, Lamborghini,
Mm-hmm.
but people buy them because they can. I'm not
Mhm.
exactly seeing this. I'm not exactly predicting to see this TV fly off the shelves.
Mm-mm.
I
It's
mean,
it's gonna
it's
go into the homes of the rich and famous to say, hey, look what I can buy that you cannot buy.
right. It's 8K. 4K came out in 2013. It was introduced in 2013. And it's not even the standard yet.
Nope.
1080p, I don't think, is even the standard yet. It is, I think 720 is still the standard, or is now the standard. Isn't it? I mean,
Maybe. I don't know. There are still 720p televisions
right, and there are still
on the
platforms
shelf.
that broadcast in 720p,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they'll upscale to 1080.
Mm-hmm.
But 4K, I mean, yes, 4K is available, but you can't get 4K broadcast directly through your cable. You can't get it broadcast directly through your satellite. You can watch it on certain TV channels that are about to be coming out, such as the NASA TV channel, 4K in
Well,
space. Ooh.
Well, right
Yeah.
now, 4K and quality is kind of a bigger thing in Europe. Here in the US, we kind of want things quick. We want it now. Just give it to me. Where right now, in Europe, they more or less they kind of want the 1080. They want the 4K for whatever reason. Like, it's a cultural difference, but that market is more probably hinted toward elitism and then to the European market.
Right, but I'm just wondering why the certain need to release an 8K TV when 4K isn't even
It's not a
close to the
household thing yet. And
standard format.
there are very few cameras that can actually shoot 8K video.
Right, right,
Yeah.
and they are extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, I used to watch a TV series or a YouTube series called Video Game High School, which
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't seen it, I would suggest you check it out. It's only it's 3 or 4 seasons. It's maybe 30 episodes total. It was absolutely awesome if you're a gamer or a geek of any kind. But their last season they shot in Red Dragon 6K, and I was like, wow, this looks beautiful. And when I just let my curiosity run wild, I looked up the cost of a Red Dragon 6K camera, and it was like $140,000 at the time.
Oop.
So what does an 8K camera even cost? Because a 6K camera will not shoot 8K.
Yeah, that's just. I think it's a preemptive move that's nowhere near being needed.
Right.
Because, like y'all were saying, 4K is not even by any means industry standard yet. It's working its way there,
Right.
but it's not. So, yay for innovation, but don't try and pass a $130,000 TV on to me, because
Right. Why is this a thing right now? Right
Yeah.
now, that is. There's still articles coming out on whether or not you should buy a 4K TV. Still.
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, as a side note, I put a lot more credit and respect into companies that do these kind of things as displays and expos, not as products.
Right.
Because what are you doing right now? You're jumping the gun way early.
You're
making
profit
an-
into something.
Yeah, and you're making an 8K TV that we really don't have the best technology for yet. And ultimately, I mean, it's a money coup. Because
Yeah.
maybe in 10 years, in 15 years, maybe we will have progressed to 8K. And people are going to be buying them off the shelf for $1,200.
Yeah, not 130 grand.
Not $130,000. And so I kind of tend to see these more as a coup for, how much money can we scalp out right here at first. The same thing happened with 4K TVs. 4K
Right.
has come down tremendously just in the last year and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so couple of things. Number one, YouTube, in case you were wondering, does support 8K video.
It supports 8K?
It supports 8K video
Wow. Okay.
for
Wow.
limited items. And
Nature,
also,
probably, and space.
right. This TV is actually a monitor, technically speaking, because the tuner is
Non-existent?
You don't use it to watch 8K video because a tuner cannot process that video.
Yeah.
So even better than a television, it's a monitor.
It's a
Ooh.
monitor. And
Ooh.
in order to watch anything in 8K, you have to use all 4 HDMI inputs at once.
You
So
see?
that brings me back to my original question. Why is this even a thing right now?
We do not have the technology yet. It is not time. Developers,
Stop.
put your panties back on. Stop with the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, if I had an extra $130,000 laying around, I would have one of these on my wall just because. But
I wouldn't. I'd have
again-
another car.
then again, if I had $130,000 lying around too, I might just have I might have a new car, maybe two,
I'd have
or
a new
a new
house.
house.
A new
Yeah.
house, yeah.
Exactly. Instead of
I dislike this.
Yeah.
he dislikes. Can we
Yeah, he
dislike?
Dislikes.
Are we allowed to dislike yet?
Thumbs
Well,
down.
We're about to. We're gonna be disliking everything in a very short time. At least that's
Yes.
how I see it. This button that we refer to is gonna be so insanely overused by everybody who like new and shiny things. And that is the Facebook dislike button.
Make sure you thumbs down it on your 8K monitor, guys.
Yeah. it's coming. It's coming. Zuckerberg has been holding a few Q&As and a few different kind of announcement like things, and he is talking about the addition of more ways to share your emotional reactions. So potentially we're looking at more than just a dislike button. They're looking at, not quite an emoji style, I wouldn't think, because why wouldn't you just use emojis?
Right.
But they're looking at more of, I would assume, more of like a pull down menu of maybe reminiscent of even old MySpace, mood postings, how you feel when you're posting.
You can
Right.
already post your
Yeah, you
mood
can
on
do
Facebook.
that,
Yeah,
but
you can
not.
do that on
But I
Facebook,
mean, not
but
as like a
in not
response
in
to a
response.
post.
He's quoted as saying it's surprisingly complicated to make an interaction that's that simple. Talking about, just a simple dislike or other similar function.
Right, because
Uh,
they don't want to abuse it, I would assume.
Right,
Yeah,
and I mean,
and-
he's long said that he doesn't want people to just like popularity contest people's posts.
Yeah.
Like, dislike. And in fact, the another site that we're on, Votable,
Mm-hmm.
had actually disabled that function as well because he didn't want it to be that that downvote function that's so easy to abuse.
You can still downvote on Votable. The downvotes just don't work. It's
They-
all
they
in your
don't show-
mind.
They don't really show up. You can go into the thing and actually see it, but they don't show up. It's
Mhm.
invisible unless you actually look for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But who knows? Maybe I think it is needed to show. I've never wanted to like a post with someone that had, someone posts, for instance, my sister who's got some medical things going on. She just found out the other day. She's extremely scared. She's extremely frightened. A large portion of my family, most of my family, pretty much all of my family, is worried for her. But we did not want to like that post.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we did the human thing. And instead of attempting to like the post and keep on scrolling down through our feed, we took the time to write comments. I'm not saying the dislike button is not needed, but maybe Facebook could put it in so that the actual poster can choose to enable the ability to dislike.
That's a potential option, or they could trial it with you know,
Well,
pages.
Yeah, and they
Rather
also
than-
have. I'm sorry, what?
Trial it with pages rather than personal posts.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have kind of alluded to the fact that they're trying to determine a almost a filter of what kind of post this could be used on. So it might be that there is an optional filtration system of if you want this open to all emotional reactions, or if you just want classic, you know, deal with the like button or go on about your way.
Right.
So they do have in mind that they don't want people just coming through and spam disliking and you know, the internet bullying crap that goes on and all of this. So it is in their head when they're developing these things.
I'm going through the notes on our outline for today's cast, and I wrote down the question, with what seems like everyone being offended at everything lately, do you think this could hurt actual real-world friendships?
Yeah.
I'm sure
And,
between teenage
yeah.
girls.
I mean, I answered your note, you know, in my own notes on our topics. It was like, yeah, certainly it's possible. If a dislike button was introduced as a blanket option, and you post a picture of your child or your pet, or like, here's my new haircut, and you get dislikes on it from people that are your friends, yeah, that's probably going to cause some tension. But
Go ahead.
But yeah, I also made the point that I think that when everybody says, oh, there needs to be a dislike button, there needs to be something other than a like button. I think what a lot of people are saying is, like, we're looking for a button where we can say, I have seen this and I acknowledge it and I don't have anything to say, but
Yes,
it's
we
not
need-
appropriate for me to like it. Like, you know, I went to the doctor today and I found out that I'm really sick. I don't want to like that.
Right.
We need an eye contact and nod button.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Acknowledges
my thing
this post button. Yeah.
Yes. Noted.
My thing is, I don't really like just having a like button, because I feel like for like the younger people and then like stupid people, it raises their sense of insecurity of, I only get told good things and blah blah blah, and the world is perfect, and then you hit the real world and you're like, what the hell? And I like, you know, a balance between saying, hey, this is good, hey, this is stupid, and you need to understand it's stupid, and let's go ahead and get that across before you get to the real world. And
Yeah,
you
and
know.
if your babies and dogs are ugly, I'm gonna dislike them. 'Cause boom.
I
Maybe
think we
not
know
that
where
far.
I think we know where Dano
There you go.
and Crimson both stand on the participation trophy movement.
Yeah.
It welcome to the real world, kids.
Mm-hmm.
The real world is hard.
It is. I never
How
got
about
I never got a trophy just for showing up. I was terrible at sports, but you know what? I tried. I didn't get a trophy. So, you know what I did? I tried harder.
Yeah, I mean, that's the age that you and I are at. We are not at the you know, trophy for participation. Everybody came in first place, even the kid who came in last.
Right. I completely
not
agree. I completely agree with Crimson on his stance of, it's the real world. Some people are not going to like the things that you say or do.
Right. Right.
Maybe
And
they
you can't survive and make a living off of how cute your selfies are.
maybe they need some real world training.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Maybe there's a company out there that provides it.
Maybe they need to learn up some stuff.
Get learnt up. There actually is a company that's doing this.
It's about time.
Perfect. They have $8 million in funds right now. This is a company that is driven to create an educational platform to basically teach job skills, interview skills, like job coaching. And this is designed to be geared towards entry-level positions. So you're talking about, the people who tend to get overlooked in our society. They could not or did not maybe complete their degree, or maybe they did, but they didn't get that common sense education of how to speak, how to, present themselves in an interview, how to attain the job that they might be trained for.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is a class that is developed to actually present those skills, but will it make a difference is the question.
Right.
Will it make a difference to the hiring managers?
Will employers recognize this as a valid thing? I wish it had been around a little sooner. I'm changing careers. I'm staying in the same career field, but I've recently changed careers, and the hardest thing for me was to get a job as a service advisor because I didn't have any customer service skill.
Mm-hmm.
I've always dealt with a service advisor as a former mechanic. I know exactly what a service advisor does. I know how to talk to people in real life. I know the job through and through, but I don't have any actual practice in it, nor do I have, a relations degree or whatever it is. I think they want entry-level business management.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they offered degrees in relations.
Like a business associate's or business bachelor's degree?
Exactly. I don't have that. I have a tech school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And if this had been around a little bit sooner, maybe it would be developed to the point now where it's like, hey, you want to learn how to, deal with people in a business setting, customers in a business setting? This is for you. But then again, that raises the question of would a potential employer even recognize it? Linz,
Right,
do you think
exactly.
your hiring manager would even give this a thought?
I am the hiring manager.
Oh.
Here's the thing. Something like this could really be beneficial. It's amazing how many people step into my office to interview for a job and they have no idea how to speak. Just how to tell me about themselves. And this
How
is
to
not
conduct
like
themselves.
how to conduct themselves. It's not a cultural thing. It's not an age thing. It's nothing like that. It's literally that when they sit in front of me, they don't have the skills to communicate with me.
Are you sure it's not intimidation?
It could be intimidation, but I'm not that intimidating. I'm
Oh.
4'11".
I know you're not intimidating at all, but honestly, I sit in front of a potential employer for an interview, and I know what I want to say, and the words just seem to come out wrong, and it's because I'm nervous.
Right. That could be it. Now, in the medical field, we do have some trade schools that offer these courses, these certificates in medical office training. Mm-hmm. They get a little medical office certificate. Those people that come in with those certificates are completely equal with a person that comes in without it because they don't learn what they actually need to know in the position. So I'm not sure if LearnUp is going to. I might take some of these myself just to see what's in them, so that if it really takes off and someone walks into my office and says, "Oh yes, I've completed the LearnUp courses, whatever," maybe that'll actually give me some information about the individual. They do bring up the point that if these candidates are self-motivated enough to complete this on their own, then maybe that does present some information about their motivation to the potential
that
hiring.
speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Just in that.
Yeah, they do have some partners. They're partnered with Old Navy, AT&T, Fresh Market, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Sprint.
I'll tell you, if they're partnered with, AT&T and Sprint especially. Have you ever dealt with Sprint customer service or AT&T customer service or their sales people in a store? I mean,
I haven't had Sprint since I was a teenager. We've been with Verizon for years.
Yeah.
honestly, it speaks volumes to me because they are some of the most relatable customer service people I've ever talked to. They're very well.
Yeah.
They're very
It's-
human. I will say that they're empathetic to a certain level.
Yeah. I wonder if that is going to be. I mean, they give examples of like office equipment and stuff like that, but I really wonder if common sense customer service is going to be part of this training course that's going
Right.
to be available.
Right.
Just today, I had employees come in fearful because someone was upset about something, and here they are. Lindsay, can you come talk to this lady because she's upset, and and
You don't
as
know
an
how to talk to.
adult,
They don't know how to talk to someone.
they don't know how to talk to people, especially someone who seems like they might be the tiniest bit upset. And of course, this is my entry level department, the ED. So as an adult, when you walk out and you're able to very quickly assess the situation and speak in a calm tone of voice, and the person's like, "Oh, hey, oh, it's not a big deal at all. Just wanted to let you know." And I look back at my employees and they're looking at me like I did something, like I performed some miracle.
Right. Now, I did notice there's a interview preparation course in here, or it covers interview preparation. I think I might take that one,
Oh
especially.
yeah.
I think that's something I might need, just because honestly, my people skills suck. My okay, I rephrase. That's the thing right there. I just did it. I know what I want to say, but the words do not come out in the way that I need them to. My people skills don't suck. My ability to talk to people and make it sensible sucks. So maybe
So
this.
your people skills suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Conversational skills.
My conversational
Right.
skills
Yeah,
are bad.
yeah.
My social skills.
There you go. Yeah.
So this might be right up the alley for me as well. Maybe let's all take a course and come back in a couple of weeks, and
I think we should.
unless you guys don't want to,
No, I love it. Let's do it.
hopefully it's not too expensive. Do we have pricing on these?
Let's see. It should be free, right? It should totally be free.
I hope so.
It should, but it probably won't be. Not the way the world works.
No pricing yet.
Yeah,
Not that I
nothing
can
shows
see.
any pricing.
No, I can't see anything more without signing up for the site, and it's asking for the employer login at this point in time.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think ultimately it'll probably take off. It'll have the most likelihood to take off in more, not entry level jobs in the sense like it's an entry level position, but I think it'll take off more in the jobs that are entry level to working in general. Your kids coming out of school with first, second, and third jobs.
Right.
Because a lot of these are, like they were saying in the article, Old Navy is using this with 200 and something thousand of their new employees coming in.
Right. And Old Navy, that's a store that does require customer interaction as well. Unless you're that guy that's making guy or gal, that's making exactly minimum wage, stocking the shelves after close.
Yeah.
And we all know exactly where you're going in this career field, or in that career field. Nowhere fast. If you can talk to people, you end up, it seems you end up climbing the ladder a lot faster if you can talk to people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of talking to people, BBC and Rockstar Games probably should have talked. I know
Would have been a good conversation.
that's a drastic topic change for minus the rumors here, but that's exactly what we kind of have to do to progress with our show. Rockstar Games is suing BBC over a movie called Gamechangers. that is coming out, or that is out already. It's in the UK.
Right.
We can't see
Right.
it because we're in the States.
Let's take a step backwards. They sued several months ago.
Yes. And
That's not the news.
yeah, they sued several months ago in hopes to protect their trademark. The Rockstar Games has this game series called Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if you've heard about it or not.
I've never heard about this.
Okay. Well, let me tell you about Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is an open world game that your choices do have consequences. I will put it that way. You'll hear people say that Grand Theft Auto, because nobody's ever heard of the game. Grand Theft Auto is about stealing cars, killing people, having sex with prostitutes, murdering said prostitutes, burning the world, killing civilians. No, that's not about that at all. Honestly, it is about the choices you make.
So
Anyway.
it could be about all of that.
It could be,
Or it could not be.
if you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rockstar is suing BBC, or has sued BBC. They tried to settle out of court to protect their trademark. All Rockstar really wanted was the name of their game in this new movie changed. The game change is about a court case that happened back in the day when Grand Theft Auto 3 was brand new. Let me pull up names here. There was a lawyer. Uh-oh. I lost my article. There we go. There was a lawyer named Jack Thompson. Very Christian man. Not that religion has anything to do with it. Who sued GTA's mastermind Sam Houser in 2002 regarding Grand Theft Auto 3. Because he did not like the morals it portrayed on civilization, as well as there was a man who killed a couple of people and is doing a life sentence for it.
Right. So BBC completely admits, very candidly, oh yeah, Rockstar didn't authorize this.
Right.
No way.
Rockstar did not authorize it.
But, you know the but? But they based it on court documents and interviews with the people involved in the actual case.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're trying to get. I mean, they're playing that they're going to get away with it because it's a docu-film.
Yes, it's factual drama. That's
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know why it took me so long to get to that point. I didn't even get to that point. Lynn's got to it for me. Whew. But yes, it's factual drama. This movie was made about without certain things' permission, without Rockstar's permission. Rockstar doesn't care that the movie was made, but they care that their name is used in it. One of their products' names is used in it. No names were changed to protect the innocent, or the guilty in this case.
Yeah.
But what would... The reason this story is on the show tonight is what would happen if you were in Rockstar's shoes and somebody made a movie about you? Let's say I go out and hit some woman crossing the street after, because I'm driving distracted or something, and I maintain my innocence. I end up going to jail for involuntary manslaughter. And then a movie is made using my name.
Right. Right. Any story can be spun in two vastly different ways. The movie that's made about you, a self-centered man who didn't have any regard for human life. One time you ran over a toad with your bike. So obviously you're a sociopath. Hit this girl, because you didn't care about looking around and being aware of your surroundings. You were on your phone or whatever. Or
the movie that I would allow to be made because it has my permission.
Caring, wonderful guy who,
made a mistake.
loves all it. Right. And exactly. Like whose
Who was
best friend,
distracted thinking about all the
sister-in-law was
kittens
yeah,
who were gonna
yeah.
die in the shelter today.
Right.
Sister-in-law was having a baby. He was on the way to the hospital. He got a text message. He went to look at it, and oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everything can be spun.
So long story short, Rockstar is saying this movie is completely made up BS. I can't swear on Minus the Rumors. I forgot about that.
Bollocks.
Bullocks is
Bollocks
the
is
actual
what
word.
they say.
Yes, bullocks.
Random, made-up bollocks.
Rockstar was not ever interviewed for it. They never got to give their input on it. So this is all factual evidence.
Well, the Rockstar as a corporation was never interviewed for it. Now it does say a little bit about
Right, they did
former employees being interviewed that were around during these processes and the actual court documents. So you have to assume that there's a certain degree of truth and a certain degree of movie magic to play up the drama.
Right,
But
Of course,
define former employee as well. Yeah, I swept their floors for 6
Yeah.
years.
Right. Or even worse, I got fired for attendance issues.
Right, and here's
I got
how
fired for performance issues.
and here's how I remember all that going down. I'm not a former employee of Rockstar, and by the way, BBC has not been scared to state Rockstar did not give us permission to make this movie.
No.
They are actually flaunting that.
But is it, did they infringe upon anything because they used actual public documents? That's the question.
Right.
This is not new. I mean, there's a movie called The Social Network
Yes.
that very obviously paints Zuckerberg in a very negative light. There are too many movies about Jobs versus Gates to count.
Right. Wasn't there one about what's his name? The guy that made Napster. Wasn't there one about him as well? Maybe.
There might have been. I don't remember now.
Either
Seems
that or
vaguely familiar.
yeah, that's the thing.
Of course,
didn't-
Napster at this point seems vaguely familiar.
No, that's right.
I didn't even remember The Social Network being a movie until it was brought up earlier. It's like, oh yeah, that was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is, too much. It's too much. Why would you make something using someone else's name? I mean, BBC could have just as easily changed the name of the game, changed the name of people, still based it on factual evidence.
If they're saying it's a documentary, then they didn't, I guess they feel like they didn't need to because it's a documentary.
Well, then, with a documentary, you would think you'd need to get a releasing party's permission. Or an involved party's permission.
I don't know. I mean, it
I mean, like, I really don't know. Like, I don't
That's
have
the
the
thing,
answer.
Like if you were, say, you were gonna do a documentary on a mass serial killer, but he doesn't want to give you the permission to use his name or anything relative in his story that's real, unless you spin the documentary like he's innocent, when he was found with 20 dead bodies in the trunk of his car, and the knife in his pocket. It's where does it stop on that note?
Mm-hmm.
Just because somebody says it's not true, and I don't want you to make this,
doesn't make that the truth necessarily.
You can't just stomp your feet and
Yeah, I mean, we do, like, we enter other countries, impoverished nations and stuff like that to make documentaries all the time. I'm pretty sure we don't have permission to do any of that.
Right. Good point.
yeah.
Crimson, what's your takeaway on all this? Okay.
That's a great viewpoint.
Were you trying to be funny, or did you not know?
Oh, I did not know. He must have dropped his connection.
Yeah, Crimson's connection dropped about 20 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, I had my TeamSpeak minimized.
We will be continuing the broadcast ourselves.
Everybody have a moment of silence for the Crim.
Did he like mobile message us or something and let us know that? I've got my
I don't know,
phone
the phone's on
on
mute.
mute.
I don't have anything.
We
Ladies and
got that
gentlemen.
reminder before we started recording. Everyone, please silence your phones and your pets.
That's right. Please
That's
silence
my-
your phones and your pets.
That's my Crimson impression, by the way. I hope it's not offensive to him when he sees this later.
It should be offensive to him, even if it's not. It should be.
What?
He was active in the docks earlier, so I don't know. Maybe he's just having.
I
slow
didn't.
network
Yeah, that's the
issues.
thing. His name is still in
Oh,
our doc right
but it's
now, but it's
shaded.
shaded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it's gone to
does-
sleep
that-
now.
Okay, that's
Anyway,
what that. Okay.
yeah. So
Main
basically,
point is Crimson's gone.
Right, Crimson. What do you have on this?
He's gone.
Crickets chirping.
we are we are big nerds for even debating this right now, or are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that was just cheesy. That was cheesy more than nerdy.
Pardon me while I mute my microphone to take a drink.
Thank you for narrating. Nerdist Nerdist Industries is going to be releasing a movie in actual theaters. Only 500 of them. But
Is
in
it gonna be 8K?
well,
Is
it's
it gonna
Nerdist Industries,
is it gonna
so
have the
probably
biggest
not.
budget of any of the horror movies?
No. It's just this little horror flick.
Was
you
it
know?
months in
It's this little horror
development?
flick.
Was it months in shooting?
I don't understand the bit.
No. Okay. Never mind. Is it a huge movie?
No, it's not. It's not. It's actually not even really what impressed me about the story. Nerdist acquired the movie. They didn't make it. They acquired it after it premiered at Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas. And this is not the first movie that Nerdist Industries has had a part in. When I say Nerdist, I feel like I'm talking about just Chris Hardwick himself. It's actually Nerdist Industries now. But yeah, they had a straight to video on demand movie as well. But what really, really struck me is the interview that he gives as he's talking about this movie. So the actual story to me, though it's probably not to anybody else, is this long interview that he gives about growing up as a nerd. And, I mean, do you know like the old stand-up comedian Chris Hardwick? Did you ever see any of his stuff? Or do you just know him as that guy that hosts The Talking Dead?
I don't even watch The Walking Dead.
Well,
You're going to hell for that statement.
number one, you
I
and
don't.
I are no
I
longer friends.
honestly don't even really know who Chris Hardwick is.
Number one, you and I are no longer friends.
I'm sorry.
That Walking Dead comment was.
I'm
just out of
sorry.
line.
I don't watch
Out
The
of
Walking
line.
Dead. I
Out of
don't
line.
know who Chris Hardwick is. I've caught him at midnight for like
Yes.
20 minutes once or twice.
Yeah.
And I will say he
Nerdist-
is very funny.
Nerdist Industries owns Geek and Sundry.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yeah, I know who they are too. But I don't know. I've never bothered to look into who Nerdist Industries is before tonight.
So like, as you know, when I had the reaction like, oh my gosh, Nerdist.
Nada.
Just okay. Anyway,
I figured
his-
he was a big YouTuber, honestly.
his, no, he's a childhood nerd turned stand-up comedian turned multimedia industries guru type guy. He's got At Midnight. He hosts The Talking Dead, comes on after The Walking Dead, a show that's so good that it actually has another show just to talk about the show that you just watched. That's what you're missing. Anyway, he gives this big interview and he talks about being a nerd as a kid and how that was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure like all of us, kind of can relate to that a little bit as well. And then how you grow up and somehow you're not nerdy enough anymore. You haven't hit your nerd threshold, and ergo you grow up, you're a nerd, you're not cool. Or you're a kid, you're a nerd, you're not cool. You grow up, you're not nerdy enough, you're not cool. there's a reason that Not Quite Nerds is called Not Quite Nerds. Because there are certain,
Because you're not cool?
Because we're not cool. Is there anything about either one of us that makes you think that we're cool?
Yes, lots.
Well,
Hey,
you are a strange individual.
I
Like, I happen to know right now that that Dano is in his underwear beneath that t-shirt.
you're lucky if I'm wearing underwear.
Exactly. But he does have a gun next to his mouse pad. I know that, and I think that's cool. Because I can relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends on who you're relating to. I would be, the bee's knees in the 60s. I can smoke, drink, and ride motorcycles with the best of them.
See, as somebody
This is true.
As somebody, honestly, I don't want to
It
get
all
it.
depends. Yeah.
I don't want to get into an argument here. But as somebody that did very well in school, as well as had passionate hobbies, I always took offense to the term nerd. I mean, yes, I know Revenge of the Nerds was a thing and stuff like that, but they were highly intelligent people. Chris Hardwick appears to be a highly intelligent person, and apparently he is. But, the video gamers, the card game players, the board game players, I always thought we related to ourselves as geeks. The nerds are the NASA scientists.
I never really saw the differentiation.
I
between
didn't
them.
either. I didn't either. And that
So
might
that's
be
the thing.
that
When
might be
somebody
like a
if somebody was to call me a nerd on the street, I would try to take their head right off their shoulders. But a geek, I am proud to be. Because I am devoted to my hobbies. I geek out on them.
I really almost just abstain from identifying with any certain certain label because I do so much.
But
I'm at home
That-
with so many different hobbies
yeah.
that there is no way, at the risk of sounding like I'm a Tumblr user right now, there is no way to define me. You can't just define me and label me. But really, I mean, who do you know that during one weekend can sit at home and play video games and make YouTube videos and watch, some of the nerdiest shows you can find, quote unquote, and do everything that somebody would label as a typical nerdy or geeky thing, and then the next weekend go out deep into the woods and kill things with other men to feel manly.
With other men.
That's the thing. You geek out on playing video games as well as you geek out on hunting and, being a lumberjack.
I've never been offended by the term nerd, but I do from time to time. I wonder why we have to fit into certain labels. Like, I wonder if, as a species, as a society, do we need to feel included so badly that we have to label ourselves something, anything?
That is a perfect question. Do we feel compelled to label ourselves as something to fit into society?
Right.
You know what? Maybe we should bring that one up next week. But we could start on it now if you want to. I would like to see comments on this though.
Yeah. I would be interested in the views of the viewers. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because I'm going to say, yes, I do need to label myself in society as certain things. I need to label myself as a motorhead, as a greaser, as a Minecraft and video game geek, as a Magic the Gathering geek, as a model building geek.
And I'm more along the lines of, people are people, bro. You can wear whatever hat you want to wear. You can wear as many labels as you'd like, and it's not going to affect me in either way. It's not going to make me think more or less of you, because ultimately, you're just another human being with a different batch of knowledge and skill sets. And there are things that we'll relate on and things we won't, and that's okay.
Well, Crimson and I will tell you what labels we place on ourselves, if any, next week when we follow up on this.
Alrighty.
We've had tons of fun tonight. Thank you all for being here. We do want to mention very quickly before we go that Minus the Rumors is looking for some additional hosts. So if you like what we do and you are interested in maybe sitting right here behind the camera, well, not right here. This is my chair. You can't have this one.
Right, you can sit behind your own chair.
Sit behind your own camera in your own chair and talk about things the way that we do, then email us at minustherumors@gmail.com and we will start a discussion. Until next week, same time, same place. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.